Well, hello, 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 beautiful stars. You might see me look surprised there for a moment. I've been having a bit of issues with things going live. My patrons and I found that out Sunday night. So I hope everybody is well. I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light, and you are here for Edgar Cayce Life Skills Study. Yes, this is it's actually really late, folks. I mean, I haven't been here to do Edgar Cayce in a while. So I have noticed because of the shift in season, it is hard for me to get here at 2 o'clock Eastern time, my time. So I am now going to try to be here at 4 Eastern time to do live on Wednesdays with Edgar Cayce. I I live in northern Georgia. Definitely, I need to utilize the daytime before, the afternoon to get a lot of things done before the heat comes. So I just haven't been able to get here. If you are new here, hello, hello. Thank you for joining us. So I put it out there a while ago that secrets of the universe and how to use them. We started this a while back. One show might be a book, one of his, readings, and then the next show might be his biography. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, right? Because I do his biography, a very long version, let's say. They're all in the Edgar Cayce study playlist. So this book, as many that have been here with me know that it's a bit irritating how it's written and lack thereof or poor choice of examples or whatnot. And nothing to this writer. I could imagine trying to take on the task of putting the secrets of the universe together if you're not Edgar himself, right? We are technically in chapter 11. I want to tell everyone I was looking at the remaining chapters. The next 3 chapters in total is like 5 pages. 3 chapters is 5 pages. So I might try to just clump those all together, even if it's a longer show, and just get through it. And then we got a few more chapters after that. I originally was thinking about just stop using this book, but we've gone this far, so why not? When we're done with this, so I'm thinking the end of June-ish, we'll start the Edgar Cayce reincarnation book because that's what a lot of the poll in the community page said they wanted. So we'll start talking about reincarnation. Oh, and we're putting that out there, reincarnation. I am going to put probably only on my Facebook social media, not like Instagram and whatnot, because it would get um too many responses from those who might not be serious about it. I guess I need to. I need to start a case study. And so, what I am looking for, and this will probably go on for actually a couple, 2, 3 years, because I can't just do it as fast as it'd be nice to be done. I need a case study, and it's all about reincarnation. So the main goal is to probably take a lot of Edgar's stuff, take what I know from like the Akashic, and then um, put a lot of understanding together for people about some stuff. But in order to do that, I would like to have case studies that I can use, to show people, and not old case studies, new, fresh, because I'm going to be going at it a little bit of a different way as far as soul contract web of people and location, places, people, places, things, right? I'm going at it a bit different um, to break down reincarnation more so, and how it works and operates. So I will probably put this out on Facebook. I guess you're the first to know because I just reminded myself to do so. What I'm looking for is I need a group of people. I'm going to need 6 groups of people. What that could be is it could be like if you have a family unit of like 3 or 4, awesome. The whole family unit. Then I would need an offshoot, like a sister of one of the parents, a grandparent. I would need possibly best friend if it's like this best friend's been with you for 20 years. Soul, think soul contracts, right? So you're very close, intimate loved ones. When we say the word loved ones, that are long standing. So I need at least 9 people. I would like the base to be a family of some sort. So mother, grandparents, parents, children, siblings. So some could go out to some cousins too, like, oh, I have a nephew that would do this. So a nine people group. And there's gotta be not I'm putting up a 5. 9 people would be like a group, and I need 6 of those. So, and then you would get a free Akashic reading regarding your past life. But really just about the connections between those 9 people. It would not be, you know, all sorts of readings about sorts of stuff. It would be strictly about how are you guys connected? How many times are you connected? Where were you when you were connected? That sort of thing, right? It's just based on, well, the research I need. Now, I'm sure those who are listening might say, "Oh man," they raise their hand. Yeah, I'm sure my spouse and my kid, they would do it. It is not as easy to get an agreement of 9 people who are willing to have a reading to find out how everybody's connected. It is not that are also definitely soul contracts, right? I don't it's not oh, me and my son will do it and I have 4 other girlfriends that would be interested. That's not a guarantee that your girlfriends are even attached to you in any other past lives. Do you see what I'm saying? It really needs to be either through blood and DNA, right? Or which not that doesn't is not always the case either. My sister and I, there's blood there. We've never been together, ever. So if you have an inkling, if another psychic has told you, like, yeah, you've been with this person or that person, if you can get 9, not 9 to agree, 9 to agree that you are connected to, then reach out to me. The reason I'm saying I'm only going to say it here, or I'm only going to say because those who watch this are definitely interested, and maybe put it out on Facebook is because it is not easy to get 9 that you're not wasting my time, to tell you the truth. I don't need my time wasted. I need a solid I need 6 groups of 9. So I only serious inquiries, right? Only serious inquiries. If you already think you can get 9, let me know or take your time trying to get the 9 because I can only do kind of one group at a time. And like I said, it'd be a free Akashic reading, but all the information would only be about those connections. Okay. It's a case study. All right. As we are in Edgar Cayce life skill study. There we go, folks. I wanted to put that out there. Um, Yes, that's what I'll be doing, I guess, on top of all sorts of stuff. If you are new here, please hit the thumbs up. I hope you enjoy yourself. Think about subscribing. No pressure. I don't roll that way. And I am Courtney, your host. I am also an Akashic reader, of course. I don't like the word reader. I'm an Akashic messenger. I don't like the word reader. I definitely don't like the word practitioner. A lot of people say practitioner. I don't like that. So, going back to chapter 11, I am going to kind of rewind and review things that were said. I know in the last video when we were in Secrets of the Universe and how to use them, I didn't read all of this. I just kind of paraphrased and talked. So I'm just bringing us back through, and then I'm going to continue. And I'll probably do the same format of I'm not going to continue to read through a lot of jargon. So we are in chapter, I guess we're in chapter 10. I apologize. We're in chapter 10, Secrets of Serenity. Secrets of Serenity. The cause of pain is some aspect of self, but we can't let go of self until we have a self to let go of. That means own, claim, embrace every element that makes up life. Then she talks about, you can journal about it. You can go to groups. You can go to this. You can go to counseling. In the last show, we talked about this is a lot of what Young brought in with the shadow work stuff. And what they're saying is the pain that we feel and experience oftentimes is from us. It truly, it is. But that word program is used a lot in today's world. And it's habits and thoughts and behaviors, that have trickled down through the generations. So if you want to say programmed, sure. From society, possibly. From different aspects of your upbringing, definitely. From generations of things coming down the chute, right? So oftentimes we bring in our own pain, which in today's world, people would hate to hear that. But I also have learned that in today's world, even when you tell people that and you tell them, but there are solutions, there's ways out of experiencing the pain, there's ways out of being victims, there's ways out of all sorts of things. They don't want it. It's a lot of work. Doing what you know to do about what you know becomes easier when you stop trying to do what's traditionally expected. And it's a lot of those traditions that cause the thought patterns, right, and behaviors. And over time, they build and they get worse, and they build and they get worse, and they build and they get worse. When we're talking about do what you know to do about what you know becomes easier. In chapter 2, Cayce brought in kind of some principles that we can follow to know what to do, to truly know ourselves. And that's what that line says above. To truly know how pain is entering and you're living through it, it normally does take two to tango, right? Or at least know how to get out of it. Take some very deep work, inner work with ourselves, right? I know many a couples who broke up. I know more divorces in like this past year or so, um, than anything I've ever known. To tell you the truth, like in one time frame, like in just a year, it's like, whoa. Well, now both parties, both people, they have a great amount of healing to do. But the majority of at least the ones that I know, they're still pointing the finger at the other person. Well, that doesn't resolve anything. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't change our personal thought patterns and behaviors. So I'm sure the next relationship might not be all that great either, right? It's personal responsibility that we have to manage. And of course, I'm not talking about anything dangerous or truly harmful. Um, I'm talking about our daily lives. And it could be anything, a work situation, partner situation, kid situation, could be anything. So these were his principles. The better you get at practicing the principles daily, the better your life gets and the more truth of the secret self is revealed. So the secret self is more like you talking to your soul, right? All right. So, principle 1, I alone am responsible for my reactions to people, places, things, events, situations, and circumstances. I'll read that again. That's a pretty big pill. Number 1, I alone am responsible for my reactions to people, places, things, events, situations, and circumstances. 2, I meet with my God in the temple of my body daily for communion, correction, and thanksgiving. I speak to God in prayer and listen to God in meditation. I open my heart and my hands to receive and send gifts of the Spirit. I read something daily to strengthen my faith. So basically, that was very long-winded to say I I meditate. I spend time with God. I take care of my spiritual maturity and growth. Pause for one moment. Sorry, folks, I was looking for something. Okay. Number 3, I recognize every person I meet as an opportunity to serve God and to know myself better. Every person I meet is both student and teacher. I acknowledge their divinity as well as my own. The ground on which we both stand is holy. I love that one. 4, each day is set before me, life and death, good and evil. In all things I choose life. And so you all know, there is a video in the Edgar Cayce playlist where I go through these principles much more so, much more in depth. I'm just rereading them right now. 5, I love as I want to be loved. Forgive as I want to be forgiven. Give as I want to receive. 6, I obey universal law as I understand them, sorry. I reckon in reconcil pause. All right, I'm going to be very transparent with you guys. It is boiling in this room right now because I turned off the air conditioning. And so I am putting my hair up. I need to cool down. These lights in front of me are dangerously hot right now. Oh man. Yeah, I'm burning up. Burning up. All right, 6. I obey universal laws as I understand them. In recognition that I use what I have, more will be given. 7. I remain open to a deeper understanding of my purpose. It's so funny. Everybody says, I'm open to receiving. I'm open to receiving. What is more important to being open to receiving other than the deep understanding of your purpose? Just saying. I see Lori came in the chat. Good to see you. She said, I'm hot here too. Yeah, I thank you for coming in, Lori. For and everybody who's watching, maybe even later. Please stay nice and cool. Please get enough water and rest. Um, I did too much in the sun yesterday, so I'm actually trying to protect my body right now. I still feel the internal fire going on inside me. So you be safe too, Lori. Ah, and it's only the beginning. 8, my words and actions agree with my purpose as I understand it. 9, I follow my soul guidance to individuals and to groups, acknowledging that God speaks to me through other people. 10, I claim my inheritance of will, faith, and freedom and spend it on lights for the path of another, acknowledging bountiful abundance that amplifies in all matters. Oh, it says multiplies. Well, amplifies is good too. 11, I get out of my secret self's way and allow my soul to express what my mind has built in daily living and in dreams, which I record. I patrol myself, but no one else, admit my errors to myself and others, and make corrections with God's help. 12, I surrender daily to victories and defeats of the past and future. I live in the reality of the moment. So like I said, I was rereading the principles, 12 of them. They are very, very similar to any 12 step of recovery, which there's a million different, no, I shouldn't say a million, that's an exaggeration. There's different recovery groups, but they all, if they're 12 step one, these are all very similar to the 12 step of any recovery. We were reviewing those because when we go back to chapter 10, and it says, doing what you know to do about what you know becomes easier when you stop trying to do what's traditionally expected. And then they're talking about, like, if you do those principles and you really pay attention to them, you're going to be talking to yourself more and honoring yourself more and doing what's best for yourself more. It's a serious business. Destiny depends on it. Wars in the outer world are but shadows of wars in the inner world. Your personal peace contributes in a very real way to the world peace. Cayce suggests that personal peace is in significant numbers of us is the secret to peace on the planet. So once again, and it's interesting how this chapter is going to end. Cayce is trying to say the more of us humans that find, because we're about to go into consistency, that's where we left off before. Consistent inner peace. The more we have of significant numbers in that, sufficient numbers in that, of humans living in consistent inner peace, the more is likely the concepts of war will be washed away. And then it goes into the helping of others. This is where I kind of stayed more in the last video. Personal peace comes from taking the focus off yourself and putting it onto others. Yet personal peace comes from taking the focus off of others and putting it onto yourself. And that's the dichotomy of humanness. If you can't help yourself, you can't help somebody else. But if you can't help somebody else, you can't help yourself. We are all in this thing together. That's what the writer said. That is the flip of the coin. So here's the deal with that. Because I'm just trying to sum up all that was said weeks ago when we started chapter 10. Here's the deal with that. You can't help somebody else if you're still broken. As I just said at the very beginning, if you are still living in pain yourself, because even though you thought you changed everything in your life, but you're still living in whatever kind of pain and you thought you fixed everything, it is a internal issue then. It is a human you issue. It's based on our thought patterns and behaviors. It's based on our insecurities. It's based on our fears. It's based on all this stuff, right? We cannot truly help another until we help ourselves within that. Those who truly help other people have that inner peace because they have what we want. How did you obtain that inner peace? This is how I did it, right? If you don't have that, if you don't have peace within and peace around, you're not really in the position to help. But at this, and just hear me out, because as within, so without, right? As without, so within. That's the next step. When you get to, you don't have to be perfect either. You don't have to be like, I'm completely healed and I'm Buddha on the mountaintop, because that's not realistic. But when you have enough healing behind you, that things don't trigger you right away. When you have enough healing behind you that you have peace of mind on a consistent daily basis, then that is your time to go out and be of service to others. And within that service to others, you're fulfilling much of what our purpose is, but also you get to learn more about yourself because all those people then become these beautiful mirrors. And all that stuff that you think you healed, oh my goodness, I didn't really heal yet. Or what is this and what is that? Service to others gains even more healing for an individual. But you have to be at a certain point in your healing process to even begin that. Or it ends up being a nasty form of like martyrism. Look at me. Look at how much I help, right? Me, 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 me. So that's the dilemma of being a human. To truly help, you have to heal yourself. And to heal even further, you have to then go out and help. That's what happens. But it is, I was on the phone with somebody today. Oh my goodness, this came up twice today. Hmm. This came up twice today with people. Um, that is seriously all that humans are supposed to do, at least as of right now. That is all we're really supposed to do. Heal ourselves, help heal each other, and heal the land. So no matter what you do, if it's starting with self, someone else, the land, you're moving back and forth. You could see it as a triangle, right? You could see it as the trinity of self, someone else, and the land, the earth. All of those need healing. So you might end up bouncing back and forth between the three. That's perfectly fine. But that is all that is required of us, period. That is all that's required of us, at least right now, period, is healing. Is that has been known for a very, very, very long time. But yet it hasn't been the main focus, I should say. I don't know. Yeah, hasn't been the main focus. That's I can't state when it was because in our written history wasn't the focus. So let's make it the focus. Um, good to see Seeker. And Coke Queen, good to see you. Good to see everyone. I am going back and kind of just reviewing where we were in chapter 10. Okay. So that's what she was talking about there. Then she goes into the universal law of truth works two ways. It sets us free, but freedom is the last thing some of us want. This was a touchy subject of last video when we were in this. It's that concept of it's so much easier to just be told what to do and then follow through with it than to have that personal responsibility of creation or have that personal responsibility of fortitude. It's difficult for many, not difficult once we heal, right? That's a fear. Those are all fears. So healing solves that. Healing is freedom. So that was a bit of what we talked about. I'm not going to go back into it because we talked about it last time. Only after we truly accept the truth about ourselves can we stop blaming everybody else for our lack of serenity. Then the magic happens. The answer is likely to be preceded by how do we do this, right? Find the courage to go, find the courage to stay, find the courage to say yes, find the courage to say no, find the courage to hold on, find the courage to let go, find the courage to act, find the courage not to act, find the courage to speak, and find the courage to shut up. That's how she put it. Find the courage to do an action or non action. When we talked about this last time, because then she starts talking about how that last one's the most difficult, the shutting up part. We like to nag and tell people what to do, you know, fix all the people, places, and things, manage all the people, places, and things, high expectations of all the people, places, and things. Um, the main thing there, though, is the courage. And I've taught it numerous times on my Patreon here, numerous times, and we're going to actually kind of be going back to it just a little bit when we're talking about aliens. We're in the alien series right now. The levels of consciousness chart. And one pocket of there is courage. And it does take courage to step out of the 3D into the 5. There's a whole lot of other stuff based there too that we have to do. That's based on action or non-action. Regardless of that, courage is a pretty mighty thing. And whatever we need courage for, we can get that definitely in service to others or being around others. I'm going to go straight to where we stopped last time, and is the law of consistency in the search for peace. All right, folks, I'm going to take a nice drink of water here. All right. I forgot she goes into a story here. So the law of consistency in the search for peace, it's the page break. That's what those are referred to, a page break. The word consistency, which in addition to meaning so it means a steadfast adherence to a principle, or also means agreement. So then she goes into a story about an argument between her and her husband, and the dog is let loose or something, to she was trying to state that the universe was trying to confirm to her, like, you were in disagreement and that's why you're not at peace. Like, the whole household's not at peace because you were in disagreement. So she was trying to tell a story to explain that. Just remember, so consistency, because I'm not going to read all her words, trust me. Consistency, a steadfast adherence to a principle or agreement. The law of consistency is simply behavior agreed upon and deemed necessary by at least two of the three levels of self, and if acted out regularly, produces a feeling of well-being, serenity, and peace. Please notice what it said there. I'm going to read it again. The law of consistency. So, are you consistent in your life? Because it does help create that peace, right? Especially if we are talking about how much healing can create peace in our life. Well, how consistent are we in our tricks of the trade, tools of the trade of healing? It's not just a one-stop shop with that, right? And consistency is good in all places. That's why whenever I'm late or whenever I miss a few weeks here because I'm working on something else, it does bother me because I am usually a very consistent human being. That's why it bothers me, and I love how everyone is so kind to me and says, "It's okay, Courtney, we know you're busy." It does bother me because I am usually very consistent because I know how it makes me feel. I know how good it is for me. The law of consistency is simply behavior agreed upon and deemed necessary by at least two of the three levels of self. And if acted out regularly, produces a feeling of well-being, serenity, and peace. So I wonder who here finds it interesting that it said at least two of the three levels of self. Remember, it was like we have the human brain, like the physical form, right? The everyday consciousness that drives the car and buys the groceries, that kind of thing. Then we have the higher mind, the soul conscious. I'm going to show you in a chapter coming up. There's actually a diagram of the soul, the body. So we have the soul mind, the body mind, and the universe mind. This comes up, I think, in a few more chapters. But we've already talked a lot about this, right? So if at least two of those things are in agreement and then we act upon it, awesome. I have to tell you, I know you could also see it as like mind, body, soul, right? To make it easy. To make it easy for you, when you're done listening here, Courtney said, oh, at least two of my three, mind, body, soul, have to be in agreement, right? To obtain consistency. This is like the pyramid of self-ascension, right? What I will tell you, even when I am, let's say I'm going to perform Reiki on someone, right? And it's maybe definitely their first time. I ask basically for permission because all spiritual work, all healing work, all work, actually all work really is based on permission, right? Well, in three different ways, they might not be aware of it, In 3 different ways, I ask for permission. It's because I'm talking to those 3 different parts of their self. I'm talking to the body, the mind, and the soul. So before I even begin, all 3 of those parts have to give me permission, right? If it's only 2, well, then I kinda have to wiggle out and see how to move things and do things and still kinda get the person, what they need, right? Without breaking in tradition of permission, right? So all 3 of those, if they are in agreement, mind, body, soul, makes it easy. Makes it easy for us. Let's not make anything complicated, right? If you can come up with something and you know, okay, this thing, this thing in my life, it is beneficial and good for me, mind, body, and soul, and all parts are in agreement, well, then begin. And then stick with it. Because one of those parts is going to remind you, right? Two of those parts might remind you. They're saying at least two of the three get started, get moving on it, right? Um, and if acted out regularly, precedes a feeling of well-being, serenity, and peace. That's wonderful. That's wonderful, everyone. When we are at peace, we are in a state of, hold on. I'm making sure I want to be where I want to be. Sorry. Sorry. I apologize. Oh, then she goes into mm, peace and freedom. She's trying to explain that freedom is peace, peace is freedom. I understand why she actually had a difficulty. It's like she kind of was breaking down just like the definitions and then trying to connect them. Sorry, that's why I paused there. Um, kind of a difficult way to go about trying to explain how the two intertwine. But it's where we get in a lot of the pop new age, dialogue of today of the peace of mind, peace of mind, peace of mind is freedom. When we are going to study more as even as we go through this book, I believe that consciousness is really the levels of consciousness is where more freedom lies. So here's the deal with peace that comes from a lot of accepting of self and others, forgiveness of self and others, compassion for self and others, right? A lot of the peace that comes with this being consistent in things like that, of that nature, being consistent in stuff like that, and having that inner peace allows us then in this body of form to start to expand. We're not as restricted. We're not holding ourselves in tight. We're expanding out. We're learning, we're growing, we're changing, we're healing. And within that, when we have more consistent peace of mind, the more we are able to expand. In that expansion is the freedom. And when I say expansion, I do mean expansion of consciousness, right? So within that's the freedom. And it was very hard for her to write it, I would say. And because it is, it's hard to try to put that into words. I don't even know if she understood it herself, the writer. I'm not against her. She was probably a lovely woman just trying to do her own thing. This wasn't written in 1989 as well. So not all of this, I mean, it's easy for me to say this stuff because we live in a world today now that talks about, ascension and, expansion and higher consciousness. Not so much in 1989 as many of us can remember. So I was just, for me personally, I think that was kind of when New Age was just kinda coming on the scene a little bit more, but they wanted to make it a little bit more, accessible, as in, we're not a cult of the '70s. That was 1989 for me, I think. So, this is Edgar Cayce's formula for peace. 1, unconditional surrender to the divine mind. I'm gonna read that again. Unconditional surrender to divine mind. MIND. Yep, that was a pause for everybody. That was his step 1 for Cayce's formula for peace. Hmm. Unconditional surrender to divine mind. I want to actually tell you a story real quick to kind of. I taught it recently with the patrons about how once we start utilizing our intuition and trusting our intuition, just following our intuition, it can be developed into like psychic abilities, right? I discussed it with the patrons. Any of you can join us at any time. It's $5 or $8 a month for you. If you can pay 8, cool, make up the difference for somebody else. I teach there twice a month. I guess I'm bringing it up quite often because I have been teaching. They really get the material, right? So one of our last classes was about the gifts of an empath and how intuition can be developed into actual psychic abilities. Well, like 2 days ago, a memory came back to me. I don't know why, but and I didn't even pay attention to it at the time. My cousin had reminded me about it weeks, months later, whatever. So I was with my cousin somewhere. We were by a mall. I don't know if I was picking her up from work or why we were at the mall. That I don't know because I'm not a mall person. But as we were on our way home, I was like, "Hey, would you mind if I stopped and gave some blood?" And she she kind of like, "Okay." Like, that's a weird thing. Okay. Like most people are like, "Hey, can I stop for a bag of smokes or can I stop and get an ice cream cone or something?" I'm like, "I need to go get blood today." Like just randomly, I feel like I need to go give blood. So I did. I went in, gave my blood, we left, right? Wasn't never didn't even think about it. It wasn't until like weeks later that I'm sitting there with her again and she said, "Yeah, Courtney, and I couldn't believe you gave blood the day before." And I just paused because I didn't even think about it. It was September 10th, 2001. It was the day before September 11th that my intuition said, "Hey, why don't you stop off and give some blood?" And I followed my intuition, right? And then we all know what happened the following day. It wasn't a little voice, it wasn't psychic abilities. I didn't know the next day was going to happen. Trust me, that was not on my radar. I wasn't even living life like that. But I did follow my intuition always. With that being said, the reason I bring that up, Cayce's formula for peace, unconditional surrender to divine mind. For many people, that is when we will finally start to surrender to the intuition that says, "Hey, before you go home, go donate blood." Okay. Okay. Don't know why, but okay. Right. Without questioning it. unconditional, without expectations. Okay. The surrender there is listen and then follow through with consistency. 2, stop trying to be and just be. Doesn't that sound lovely? 2, stop trying to be and just be. I think in today's world, more people could handle 1 easier than 2 because we wrap in so much of our when we talk about trying to be, for some reason that's against what we are doing, right? It's fascinating what we do. Like, I'm trying to get time to meditate, but I have all this stuff going on, right? Or I'm trying to do this with my life, but I still got to work the grind of the 9 to 5. I'm trying to instead of acknowledging, just stopping and pausing and acknowledging your being is within the things that you are doing, right? Because if there's always going to be that constant battle, that try, that I'm dissatisfied with what I'm doing right now and I would love to be doing something other, then you're not actually being. You're not present for what you're doing. And what we're doing is who we are. What we're doing is being, regardless if we're battling ourselves or not. That's the catch of the whole game. We're always looking at trying to do or be something that we don't have the opportunity, we don't have the skills, we don't have the looks, we don't have this. We're always trying to do that instead of going, okay, yep, I'm flipping these burgers for the next 5 hours. Got it, right? I'm driving my children around for the next 3 hours to all their soccer games. Got it. That's what I'm doing. So what I'm doing is who I am being. But we're always dissatisfied with it. When if we would just open and expand a little bit, we could see all of the opportunities within those doings that we're already a part of to have lots of peace and healing. It's difficult. It's very difficult. And so I think more people struggle with that. Number 2, stop trying to be and just be. 3, study portions, any portions of the Bible, believing without making deals with God that what you need will be given. So there's like a twofold there. They want you to read the Bible, which I go back to his number 4 principle, I believe, of just or number 3. Like, would you just do something for your spiritual well-being every day? You know what I mean? Read a meditation book, read any scriptures, just meditate, whatever. So they're saying study, and they didn't even say read, they said study, which or listen to Stars of the Morning Light every day. Oh, can I get an amen? Believing without making deals with God that what you need will be given. I say trust. Trust. Trust that what you need will be provided. What you need. Pause. Need. Pause. Right? So if we read these again, it would read number 1, unconditional surrender to divine mind. 2, stop trying to be and just be. 3, trust that what you need will be given, making time to study in your beliefs. 4, make sure your words and actions agree with your purpose or purposes. They actually make it plural. Make sure your words and actions agree with your purpose. Well, I'm glad that at the beginning of this, then, or somewhere in the middle of this, I said that all humans' purpose of right now is to heal. Make sure your words and actions agree with your purpose. Well, there you go. She then goes into, well, difficulties of being able to do these things. And then she goes into, we often know how to create inner peace within ourselves, but we forget why. And usually humans, we need a why in order to do something. Why do I go to work 5 days a week? Well, because I need that paycheck, right? Why do I call this person on the phone? Because I need XYZ. Why do I do this, right? We always seem to need to have a why as to being, because it's still a part of our being. And so she was trying to say that we all actually know how to really create inner peace for ourselves, not just through healing, but all those 4 steps. But we forget the why. And so if we can't remember the why, then we tend to not do it. That is food for your own thought. That is up to you. I think making an agreement with yourself with at least 2 parts of your makeup, mind, body, and soul, I think would help with that and be consistent. And she ends this before another page break with this line. In the psyche, agreement between soul and body creates miraculous peace in the mind. And then there's a very small shift or page break. Sorry, the word shift. It says secret shift at the page break. And I found this fascinating because this was written in 1989. A secret shift in consciousness is taking place. The cataclysm prophecies in the Edgar Cayce readings, as well as other legends and prophecies from around the world, agree there exists the possibility of a disaster. However, possibility does not mean absolutely. And the call has gone out for those who will participate in the shift in consciousness necessary to prevent calamity. This shift is probably most adequately described in this book in chapter 15, which we'll get to, folks. In the section titled Journey into Consciousness. By following the flow of the rivers out of Genesis, we arrive in Revelation, for those who will be, for where those who will may walk with purpose into the light. Ugh. Sorry, that's written poorly. But many are feeling and hearing the call this minute, wherever they are. As Cayce said, sing, sing, or turnbuckle, the Lord is the God of the universe. It becomes a particular matter to answer this call and heed the soul's cries for action to stem the tide of what some feel will be destruction. To answer the call, we begin to act lovingly. First, to answer ourselves. So hold on, I want to pause for just a minute. In 1989, when she wrote this, they are talking about, hey, there's a shift, and we're going to get to it clearly in chapter 15, a shift in consciousness that can prevent these devastating calamities, these revelations, these whatever you want to say. The shift in human consciousness. So I've been saying it for a long time, folks. Now here's someone else talking about it. And if she's saying we're stepping into that, it's here in 1989, I can guarantee you we're walking in those choices right now. We're walking in the decisions we make and the outcomes they create. So the shift in consciousness is very present and can be obtained from anyone. They're about to say how. And this is how she ends this chapter. To answer the call, like the caller, are you going to be one that the light is still on? I actually was thinking about doing that at some point. I might actually reference the lamp in the Bible, the 12 maids and the lamp, that kind of story, because that has to do with today's times, has nothing to do with what they preach about and teach about. It has to do with the time we are living now. Because you're the lamp. You're the lamp. So, to answer the call, we begin to act lovingly, first to ourselves, then to others, until unending love surges around the planet through prayer and helpful communications between like minds. There a little, line up line, precept upon precept, meaning little by little. She's trying to say little by little. Make the phone calls, write the letters, light or lift up in light, be the light to someone else. Count no effort, no matter how seemingly small. I've seen one smile totally transform the consciousness of 20 people standing in a stale line, at least for a moment. But even that is a start. To speak one friendly word to a stranger is to participate in the maintenance of peace on the planet. It's a way of doing what you know to do, what you know, so you can be what you want to be, serenely alive and free. To answer the call of, are you going to be one that is going to participate in ending any massive strife or calamity or disaster? Because remember, Cayce did say it's a serious business. Destiny depends on it. Wars in the outer world are but shadows of the wars in the inner world. Your personal peace contributes in a very real way to world peace. Cayce suggests that personal peace in sufficient numbers of us is the secret to peace on the planet. But also, it helps with the consciousness shift to prevent calamity, as in full destruction, in whatever form people want to say that's going to happen. War, flood, earthquakes, whatever form, it doesn't matter, right? To answer the call, we begin to act lovingly, first to ourselves. First to ourselves. First to ourselves. Should be that easy, right? Then to others. Until unending love surges around the planet through prayer and helpful communications between like minds. A little here, a little there, a little here, a little there, right? So it was interesting that that's where that chapter ended. Because, and I think she ended it with that, not because they're not going to go back to stuff like that in chapter 15, but to say, oftentimes people don't have complete peace of mind because we're so in the distraction and the illusion and the fears that are being presented to us, opposed to thinking about, if I'm loving myself, others, and the planet, wouldn't this resolve everything? Peace of mind is hard to achieve when we're always being told the end is near. The end of all the pain and suffering that we've always endured, that could end. That's cool. I would like to heal fully, right? Fully. The end of destruction of our planet, cool, great. That can end. I'm fully grateful for that ending, right? Us working together in peace, love, and harmony because greed and corruption has ended. I am so looking forward to these endings. I'm so looking forward to all these bad endings that people are saying are bad when it would just be a massive shift. It'd be awesome to see that love, peace, and harmony can prevail and exist, but it takes some ending of other things to probably create that outcome. We're all capable of helping. I saw Lucky come in. Well, you just got here, darling, but I am walking out the building. I will be live with Lucky Stone 888 Friday, this Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're out there in the California, I think that's about 5 o'clock, wherever you are, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, mosey on over to Lucky Stone 888 and catch us live. We're going to be talking about interdimensional beings, a whole lots of stuff. We're going to be egregores, demons. I don't know what we're going to be talking about, to tell you the truth. It's Lucky's show. That's what we're doing. God bless you, Lucky. Thank you. So come on this Friday, May 24th. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for letting me kind of get through a little bit of a rough beginning. I was burning up. I'm shifting this program Wednesdays to 4 p.m. now. I cannot get through my days by 2 o'clock. It used to be I could break them up, but with the heat coming, I can't break things up. So 4 p.m. Wednesdays, Edgar Cayce Life Skills. I might just keep us in this for a little bit because the next 3 chapters, folks, next 3 chapters are only 5 pages total. Like total. There's one chapter in there on destiny, apparently. That's a paragraph. Anyways, so we'll probably do this again next week. I love you all dearly. Thanks for coming. Coke Queen, Lori, Seeker, Lucky. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anybody else, hit the thumbs up. Think about subscribing. It's a great time here. And if you can, definitely think about joining our Patreon group because we're a great community. We all are in connection with each other. We meditate together. We do a lot of great things. We learn a lot of great stuff. So Have a lovely week. Stay nice and cool. Don't exert yourself. And remember, you are being. We're not trying anything. What you do is who you are. All right. Peace out, folks. Later.